Hello everyone, I'm Dawn. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for visiting with me today. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel, The Cutting Board. We do all kinds of stuff here: true crime, food content, Disney content, hauls, reviews, DIY, SFX makeup. I have a lot of interest and I want to share them with you. On this channel, we are going to start to discuss the Menendez brothers. It's a topic I haven't covered on this channel before, and I think that we should talk about it. In this video, I'm going to talk about, who the Menendez brothers are, who their parents were, just give kind of a synopsis, a history of the story of the Menendez brothers. This is not going to be super detailed. It's just going to be, a summary. And we'll get in more in depth later in later videos. This is just for anyone who doesn't know or understand the story. This is just so they can learn about it before we start diving into the specific details of the case and what is going on with them today. So Joseph Lyle Menendez, who goes by Lyle, was born on January 10th, 1968, and his brother Eric Galen Menendez was born on November 27th, 1970. They were born to Jose Enrique Menendez and Mary Louise Kitty Anderson Menendez. Kitty quit her teaching job after Lyle was born. And Jose had an accounting degree from Queens College, and he became an executive for the Hertz Corporation, and then after that, RCA Records. When he was appointed to the CEO position for live entertainment, the Menendez family moved to Calabasas, California. In 1988, the brothers burglarized homes of friends of their parents, but I was unable to find out much information about that. But it is said that they stole more than $100,000 in cash and jewelry. I'm not sure what happened with that, but that's what I read. So after the burglaries, the family moved to Beverly Hills, and after they moved to Beverly Hills, Eric attended Beverly Hills High School, where he was an average student, but he was really, really good at tennis. Lyle attended Princeton University, but he was on academic probation for poor grades and then was suspended for plagiarism. I think it's interesting to mention that while Eric was in high school, this was when he was in high school in Calabasas, he wrote a screenplay called Friends, and it was about a rich kid who killed his parents for the inheritance. And I'm not saying that that's what the Menendez brothers did, but I do think it is interesting and worth mentioning that screenplay here. We write and do all kinds of things, crazy things when we're in high school that we oftentimes don't mean. So, maybe it's not as interesting as I thought. Eric had a friend by the name of Craig who said they wrote that screenplay together. However, the judge did not allow the screenplay to be introduced as evidence in the trial. On August 18th, 1989, Lyle and Eric went to several gun stores to purchase handguns, but because of issues with Lyle's driver's license and the mandated waiting period to purchase handguns, the brothers decided to purchase shotguns instead, which are actually easier to purchase. And they chose Mossberg 12-gauge shotguns. Next, they visited a Big Five sporting goods store in San Diego, and that's where they purchased birdshot and buckshot ammunition. On August 20th, 1989, Lyle and Eric walked into the den of their home where Jose and Kitty were watching television. And they shot both of their parents. Jose was shot 6 times and Kitty was shot 10 times. The brothers stayed at the house for a few minutes expecting the police, but they didn't arrive. They thought they would, but they were expecting them because of the noise of the gunshots, but no police. And not long after the killings, they left to dispose of the clothes that they were wearing, and later on would bury the shotguns somewhere along Mulholland. Part of their plan was to go to a movie theater and purchase tickets for Batman, but nixed that idea because of the timestamp. On the tickets. I'm sorry about that. After returning home later that same night, they still found no police presence, no sign of the police ever being there. So Lyle called 911 and told the operator that someone had killed his parents, saying that he had just come home and, found the bodies. And Eric was heard in the background screaming and crying. And when the police arrived, Lyle and Eric ran out of the house and up to them screaming. They both told the officers that they were not home when it happened. And Lyle said that he thought that might be business related, like the killings might be business related. And I won't go into too much detail here because it's pretty gross, but the police and forensic staff said it was one of the most brutal cases they had seen to that day, noting the, let's say, splatter of various matter throughout the room. According to the autopsy report, the medical examiner indicated explosive decapitation with evisceration of the brain and deformity of the face to Jose. The crime was initially investigated as possibly mob-related due to the brutality and some of Jose's business relationships. But as they continued to investigate, the police started to suspect Lyle and Eric, citing a possible financial motive because of their excessive spending after the killings. Eric's high school friend said that the one that wrote the screenplay with him that I mentioned earlier, Craig Signorelli, told the police Eric confessed to him. So Lyle was arrested on March 8th, 1990. At the time, Eric was in Israel for a tennis tournament, but turned himself in to police 3 days later when he returned to Los Angeles. In December 1992, the grand jury issued indictments charging the brothers, but that the idea that the killings were committed for financial gain was unsupported by evidence, and it was excluded from the charges. The first trial was held July 20th, 1993 to January 28th, 1994. Attorney Leslie Abramson represented Eric and Jill Lanson represented Lyle. Eric and Lyle said they killed their parents out of fear after a lifetime of ABUSC, which included SA. They accused their mother of encouraging her husband's behavior and being a mentally unstable alcoholic and drug addict. And she was also said to be very violent herself with the boys. Two Menendez cousins, Diane Vandermolen and Andy Cano, both testified that the boys confided in them about the SA when they were very young. After a month of jury deliberations, the trial was declared a mistrial due to a deadlocked jury. It was announced that the brothers would be retried. The less publicized second trial was from August 23rd, 1995 to March 20th, 1996. Judge Stanley Weinberg did not allow cameras in the courtroom. After the second trial, both Lyle and Eric were found guilty of 2 counts of first degree and conspiracy. They were sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. In April 2018, Lyle was moved into the same unit as Eric, the first time they've been together in 22 years. The unit where they are housed is for inmates who participate in educational and rehabilitation programs. In May of 2023, Lyle and Eric requested a new hearing based on an allegation made by former Menudo member Roy Rosello, who he was signed by RCA Records, and Roy states that he was drugged and R-worded by Jose Menendez while he was visiting the Menendez home in New Jersey. On October 3rd, 2024, the Los Angeles District Attorney said in a press conference that his office is actively reviewing the appeal. The uproar and backlash of Gypsy Rose Blanchard being released from prison after masterminding the unaliving of her mother in 2015 has started an online conversation about the Menendez brothers. Millions of social media users are calling the Menendez brothers' sentencing unfair and are making a lot of noise. The brothers also have a ton of celebrity supporters, which unfortunately in this world that matters more than anything else. It's not unfortunate that they're supporting them. It's unfortunate that celebrity support carries so much weight in any situation. That's all I'm saying. Personally, I don't know exactly how I feel about it. I do believe the allegations against their parents, I do believe that those allegations are true. And I do think people like that they deserve the worst of the worst. But I also see that the brothers were both adults at the time. Yeah, adulting sucks, and walking away from millions of dollars probably isn't fun and isn't the easiest thing to do, but you do what you got to do. And just like the thousands and thousands of us that thought Gypsy Rose could have just walked away, she could have just walked away. So too could have the Menendez brothers. But there is the added fear that maybe they were worried their father had connections and would find them. But I don't know. I think I would risk it and run. But then again, you know, parents, I'm sorry, I got cut off there. Controlling parents scare people. And even though they were adults, they were still very young, and not defending what they did, but defending why they did it. It is hard to walk away from very controlling people. It is, you know, hard to be, those kind of relationships are really complicated. And I don't know. I can say I do this or do that, but I don't know. I don't know what I would do. I say I think I would, but all I can say is I think I would do something. I'm not saying I would do it. I've never been in their exact particular situation, but I have been, you know, under the rule of a very controlling mother. But, you know, I can't say for certain what I do, so, you know. So as I said, I'm not completely sure how I feel about the situation. I don't feel like they should be serving life without parole because, like I said, I do believe what they say about their parents. I do believe that. So I guess I do know how I feel. And also, another thing is their eyes. If you look at pictures of them and video of them when they were younger, and then look at pictures of them now, even though they're in prison, their eyes have a lot more light in them now. They've been in prison and they have more light in their eyes now than they did when they were younger. So I don't know. And that might just be a thing that people say, but that's just something I noticed, you know. So tell me your thoughts in the comments. Keep it respectful and don't be rude to each other. Don't do it. You can disagree kindly if anyone disagrees. That's all for this video. Discuss in the comments, and I will talk to everyone later. Thank you for visiting. Bye.